Well, now listen. Good morning. It's Freedom Friday. I'm excited. Let's get into it. I'm so glad that you guys have joined. Oh my goodness. Y'all. I woke up this morning and my phone was dead. I was tapping it and it wouldn't come on. And I was like, okay, what is going on? And I hate it when that kind of stuff happens. But there's some other stuff that I hate, but we're going to talk about these two things in particular. So do me a favor and say good morning so I can shout you out in the comments. I want to be able to say hi to you. And then we're going to talk about, well, let me go ahead and tell you right quick. I am not a crazy workout person, right? And when I make the effort, I had to take that little mint, y'all, because I feel some kind of way today. Hey, Dr. V. Good morning. When I make the effort to work out and then I look down at my watch and this joker is dead, y'all, I have such an attitude. Like I did not do the whole workout. I know I did the workout. I know I did it, but I get mad because I want to look down and see that what I did is registered, right? So I had a little bit of attitude this morning when I got up and I had set my alarm because I had some stuff to do. I had put some things together. And then I got up this morning, child, and my phone was dead. Y'all know that means the alarm did not go off. All these other things went down. But here nor there, we're going to talk about, we're going to get back to that watch, though, because that's important. Hey, Tina Bina. My sister's on. You guys say good morning. I want to talk to you about Black history. Now, listen, this is the last Friday of Black History Month. And I have been enjoying everybody's post and all the stuff that people have been putting up. And I just love that. But I got something I really need to challenge your minds with today about history. Not just about Black history, but about history, period. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So everybody thinks in order for you to be considered a historical figure, that you have to do something that the world deems extraordinary, that they think it's so big that that's why it's historical. And, you know, we have a lot of accomplishments and things that have made history and have made life easier, not just for us, but for a whole bunch of folks. But did you know that you do not have to do something enormous in order for you to be history? Yeah, let's talk about it. I am history. I am not making history. I am history. I'm history by the mere fact that I'm here. I'm history. So let me challenge your thinking when it comes down to historical data. When it comes down to being history, we like to say in the making. Yeah, I'm history, ever evolving, but I'm already history. I came here history, and I'm going to leave here history, and so are you. And let's get into that, okay? So even if your hey nephew, even if your words, your deeds don't seem historical, don't seem big enough to you, you are not living 51st dates. Every day is a different day, thereby making it a historical day. Every time something happens that has not happened before, that is history, right? So the fact that you have gotten up today, a different day than yesterday, you are already history in the making. You are being historical. Let me tell you why that's important. We think that unless our name is being called, unless we are receiving certain accolades, unless we are getting these big, big things happening, that we are not historical, that we are not worthy of historical recognition. So we can't even view ourselves as historical data. Let me explain myself. We must realize that everything that we do has a place in history. Let me prove it to you. Your Facebook page, your Twitter account, all of that is historically being downloaded, right? So everything that you do, there's a memory that pops up every day that says on this day, last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, you did XYZ. Because as you lived out that day, you were creating historical data, right? So my point to you today is you are history. But let me talk to you about that watch business. Let me get back to that. So when my watch does not record what I'm doing, I have to remind myself that whether or not my watch records my workout, I still worked out. So I feel like if I didn't see it on here, did it really count? So I want to talk to you about leaving a legacy, or in other words, making your steps count, not your physical steps. Those count too, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about our interactions, what we do every day and making it count, because when we make it count, we are becoming a part of somebody's historical data. So we should be very careful with how we interact with each other, how we do things, because we are making historical footprints. So how do we do that? How are we creating a legacy? It's not just about my business or my brand, but creating a legacy has a whole lot to do with me personally in my everyday interactions. Hey, Mama Kay, listen. In the spirit of Black history, let's talk about the legacy of making every step count. If we're going to talk Black history, let's look at the fact that those that we are recognizing have made every step count. Those steps brought them to the place that historically became our history, right? So if we are creating legacies, we have to make every step count. We recognize those that came before us. We recognize those who paved the way. We recognize those who contributed in some sort of significant way to our world, to the world, right? But I challenge you to check and see if your steps count. I challenge you to look at the way your legacy is being walked out, if you will. Are you leaving a legacy behind that is one that has the kind of impact that you'd like it to have? Have mercy. Are your steps making an impact, or are you just treading lightly? Listen, my mama used to tell us, Delon, you better tread lightly. That meant that I was walking down a path that was going to get me something that I had not planned on. In other words, Mama Kay, my mouth was writing a check that my hips could not cash. So she wanted me to tread lightly. But I'm talking about, are you making an impact right now? And you may be asking yourself, well, how would I do that? I get up every day and I do the same thing. I submit to you that while your schedule may be the same, what you do every day does not have to be the same, and more than likely is not the same. Why? Because you are not the person you were yesterday. You are not the person you were yesterday. So even if I get up today and I go to my 9 to 5, and that's just what I do Monday through Friday, that does not mean that I am a 9 to 5. That does not mean that the 9 to 5 controls me or maps out my steps. I'm going to explain that. Let's get into it. Steps have to be counted. One of the places where our steps should be counted is in our interactions amongst our families, the people that we are closest to, the people that we have the most intimate relationships. So I began to ask myself, am I making steps that count with the people that matter the most to me, with the people that I say I love and the people that I know love me? What am I doing to make sure that as I interact with them, Tamara Lofton, that my interactions leave a positive historical impact, that I'm leaving a legacy. So when my name comes up, you will say, oh, I talked to her. She always XYZ. Now, is that going to be good or is it going to be bad? That's up to me. The kind of history that we leave is not always a history we want celebrated. Listen, we've done and said some things that I'm sure we don't want celebrated. But hey, Pastor, but I'm talking to you about the legacy that you are creating every day in your interactions, that you are making your steps with them count. How do I make my steps with them count? Maybe I'm super busy, so here's what I do. You text me, maybe I pick up the phone and I call you, because what happens is when you hear my voice, you hear me. Then you know my excitement. You can hear my love. You can hear how glad I am to hear from you. I can communicate some things. I can make some steps, if you will, that will imprint your heart, that will cause an imprint on our relationship, that will remind you to make your steps count as well, to remind you that when I'm talking to you, I'm doing it because you matter, because your steps have made a historical impact on me. We are creating legacies in our interactions. We are creating legacies with our family. What is the legacy that your children have concerning you? Have you ever sat down and talked to them and listened for your legacy? I work at a funeral home part-time, and I read a lot of obituaries. And what I love about reading the obituaries is I get to meet that person through the perspective of the person who created the obituary, right? I get to read their legacy, if you will, in a glimpse. Not everybody writes their own obituary, right? So I'm getting the real deal from the people who love them, who interacted with them. Of course, you don't write all bad things in an obituary, but I get an essence of who that person was and the legacy that they created, the steps that they walked out while they were here. So, what kind of legacy are you walking out amongst your family? It may not all be good, but that's okay, because you have an opportunity every day, every minute, every moment, every second to create a new legacy, to begin to reshape that thing, to change that thing, to mold that thing, to fix that thing, so that you leave historical data. Yeah. Okay. Let's get to the next one. Another way that our steps count are in public places. Are you the same person in public places that you are in private spaces? Are your steps the same? Would you be able to line them up? Could they overlap and still be the same? Let me tell you, something happened yesterday at Dollar Tree. I was in Dollar Tree and I was, now we don't have bags, and I had bought this bin. So I was putting my stuff in the bin at the end of the register. Well, the lady that was behind me had pushed her cart all the way up, like as if she was next, right? And I didn't think much about it. I'm real conscious about spaces. I don't like to be too close to people, and I don't like people to be too close to me. I want to, unless you buying these groceries, ma'am, I need you to back it up. Unless you getting ready to get this cornbread, I need you to back it all the way up, right? So I'm real conscious about how close I get when the person's next. And if I'm not next, then I don't make myself next, right? That's a word. Y'all can do with that what you will. Be next when you're next. So I still was packing my stuff up, but I had to come back and she had to move so I could pay, right? And she apologized so quick. I'm going somewhere, y'all. And she said, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to get that far ahead of you. She said, I was just so busy admiring your hair. Your hair is so beautiful. Now, let me tell you something. It's not about the compliment. While I am grateful, and she was so sweet, so genuine, she didn't mean any harm by being where she was. It's not the compliment that really stands out for me today. Today, what stands out for me was the steps that she made. What stood out for me this morning as I was thinking about history is she became part of my yesterday. She became, oh, thank you, Martina. She became part of my historical events for yesterday's date. I took something away from that day and brought it into today. And let me tell you what's great about that, Martina, and you're going to love this piece right here. What she said was great, but the fact that she did it, and she did it from a genuine place, what happened was her smile, her interaction went a long way. And what it caused, y'all catch this right here. What happens when you interact with people in a positive way and you make a positive historical deposit, then what happens is that deposit lives on. So here's what I wrote down. Let me just read it. It taught me a lesson that how we interact, even standing in that place, counts. We are leaving history because somebody that doesn't know your name is going to speak about you in public platforms. Martina, people who have no idea who you are. I don't know her name. I don't know who that lady was, but I'm talking about her today because her steps counted. She made a historical impact. Listen, I don't know about what you're doing, but listen, somebody is using your name and speaking about you, even if they don't know how to name you exactly. They know who you are because of the legacy, the impact that you made on their day. Maybe it was a smile. Maybe you gave the man on a corner $1. I don't know what it was. Maybe you just said thank you. You held the door open. You encouraged somebody. Whatever that interaction is, it is now historically recorded for somebody. Now, the question is, when your interaction is replayed, when it's relayed, is it good or is it bad? Is it positive? Is it going to help somebody? Did it help somebody heal? Did it help somebody get through the day? Did it just give them a little oomph, a little push, a little something? What is it that you are depositing in the atmosphere that somebody has to take in as historical data, and how is it affecting, thank you, or infecting them? Are we affecting or infecting? Goodness gracious. Your body language, the words you choose, your tone, all of that. Are we affecting or infecting? How are we making our steps count? Or are there people who wish they never met you? Are there people who wish you didn't exist because the impact was so hurtful, so harmful, whatever the case may be? We have the power to make historical positive impact. All right, let me get to this next one, y'all, and I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope this is doing y'all body language. Lord have the mercy, y'all, because my face, it say stuff I don't even know it be saying, because I had not communicated with my face, but internally the message had already been sent. We've got to be so careful. Let me get to this last one. Making our steps count, our worship. And I'm not talking about our worship in the place of corporate worship. I'm not talking about just our experience as we go in and out of fellowship churches or whatever. I'm talking about your God experience. I'm talking about your relationship. I'm talking about your Damascus God experience, the place where you were changed. And because you were changed, you started to live different, do different, be different, right? Because of that, I'm talking about, are your steps counting in that way? Are you making God's steps count. What am I talking about? Everything that we say he's done for us, are we making it count? Everything that he has given us, are we making it count? Are we walking that walk that makes it count? I know we're not perfect. I'm just asking you, are you doing the best you can to make his steps count? Because when we make his steps count, our steps count in the way they should count, right? Are we genuinely making our relationship count? Not that people will look at us and say, oh my God, that girl got a mean dance. Woo, you better know the footwork, baby. And I love to watch people praise God. I do. I get excited. I be like, you better get it, right? But do you ever stop and say, what's behind the dance? Baby, what is it that make your feet move like that? What is it that make tears run down your face? What is it that causes your hands to go up like that? What is the testimony? What is the testimony behind all of that? Because see, when people can know all of those pieces, then our steps begin to count. And maybe I don't know the whole story, but can I get a glimpse of the steps that have brought you to this place? Can I get a glimpse of what God has done for you through our interactions? Not because you read me 7 scriptures, not just because you were the speaker, none of that, but just our interaction. Does my interaction let you know that I've had a God encounter? Because if my interactions do not let you know that I've had a God encounter, then I'm not making my steps count, and I need to walk that out again. I need to retrace, if you will, and walk that out again, because my experience with him should be reflected in my interaction with you. If my experience and my interactions don't match, then I've got work to do. And listen, baby, I've had a lot of days where I had work to do. Baby, some days all day, some days weeks, some days months, whatever. But I got to make sure that I'm making my steps count. I told y'all about the watch. Even if it's not recorded, I still know that I did the workout, right? Even if the watch never registers 3 miles, I know what I did. So even if people never recognize the kind words you had for them at the Dollar Tree, even if people never recognize who you are and where God is taking you, you still have to make your steps count. You still have to know that these steps are historical information for somebody. These steps are going to guide somebody. They're going to help somebody. They're going to help me. I am not making history, but I am history walking. I am history talking. I am history interacting. I am history everywhere I go. I am a part of somebody's historical recount. So when they recount those things, I have to know that I've made my steps count. Listen, we only get 28 days, and y'all, I laugh about that. I'm like, that's fine. We only get 28 days. But listen, it doesn't matter about how many days, 28, 38, 365, baby, I'm still walking history. It makes no difference. Why? Because I am fearfully, y'all know I had to give you some scripture. That's Psalm. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, which means that the way I was created was historical, that there are things in me that's in nobody else. There's not another person on this planet, nobody like me. I don't care if you have a identical twin. She's different some kind of way. There's something different because God created us individually, not corporately. God created us. We don't have the same gifts. We don't do the same things. We're not all walking in the same spaces. We are not all affecting the same people. We are not all interacting in the same arenas. God created us for the places that he has ordained and designed us to walk in. God has made you special, created, specifically designed, specifically designed for the gifts, the dreams, the hopes, the tasks, the assignments before you, because you are history. Let me help you. You are his story. I hope you have enjoyed yourself today. I hope you have had a good time, y'all. Listen, you are his story. So make sure that you are making your interactions and your steps count. What is the legacy that you are leaving with the people that you interact with the spaces that you enter? When you leave that space, is it better because you were there? That's the history that we're trying to make. I love y'all. I hope, hey, Marty, hey, Lexine, I love y'all. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing weekend. Make every step count. And y'all, when I say steps, when you hug them, make it count. When you squeeze them, make it count. When you greet them, make it count. When you interact, when you cross their paths, make it count. You are historical data, and you are his story. I love y'all. Share it. Let somebody know they were fearfully and wonderfully made, created just for the assignment that God has put in their hands. Y'all have a great one. I'm out. Bye.